This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Spiritual Psychic with Sara Wiseman, where you'll learn how to unlock the secrets of spiritual intuition and your own psychic gifts. Here's Sara.
Welcome everyone to Visionary Psychics. I'm Sara Wiseman and I am here with Georgette ZACHARIUS, who is one of our Visionary Psychics. Georgette, welcome.
Hi, Sara. Thank you so much for doing this and for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, you and I have known each other for quite some time, actually, and I don't remember how we connected or where, but it's been many years.
Yeah.
You have a really special gift of being able to go really deep with people in a non-threatening yet very clear, powerful way. And I'm wondering how long, like when did you know that you had this, and how has it shifted over time as you've been working with people?
Gosh, I just really appreciate the description, because you always have a lovely way of just hitting home like what I sort of feel about myself and then putting it into these beautiful words that sometimes I can't find. But I think I've known for a long time, but it hasn't always been on a fully conscious level that I've had sort of this ability. But I'm the person that everyone seems to come to. Like I'll be in the grocery store minding my own business and just bump into somebody. And it's not like they're telling me that they just bought a brand new pair of shoes. It's we're getting into the depth in the grocery aisle of some recent trauma that maybe had just transpired, and we're just kind of really just going there. It seems like I'm always in the deep end of the pool without the life preserver.
Yeah. And not even with people you know. These are just people coming to you and being like, let me just tell you about this big thing that just happened.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if that's just the energy that they feel, but even in the work that I'm beginning to do now, I think it serves me because the people, maybe it is the energy. There's the feedback is sort of, they feel very safe. That they're in a container that's very non-judgmental and validating and supportive. And that to me is the greatest feedback, because I think we all need containers like that. We've all been through, our own childhoods filled with different kind of conditionings by very loving, maybe sometimes not so loving people, but those have really framed us and shaped us in ways that sometimes we're really not even aware of. Yeah. We don't even know. We're operating so unconsciously with those conditions and beliefs in the background.
Yeah. And even just having one person, whether it's a person you know that you're working with or a person that you run into in the grocery store, to kind of open that up so that the conditioning is not the filter we're viewing from a different space. And that can make like the whole difference in how somebody proceeds through whatever they're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. And a lot of times the ability to, when we're just looking from this narrow lens, we can't see all the rest of the possibilities.
Yeah.
And even on a biological bodied level, that actually happens to us, because as I deep dive more into the nervous system and the understanding of what is happening in the nervous system all the time, it's an easier way, I think, to be able to bring people along that may have only been operating here,
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
understand like, oh, this is another way to see this, to understand that, you know, there's something more out there. There's something available.
Well, I absolutely agree because I think it's important. Like for some people, the biggest healing method might be they're a runner, say.
Yeah.
For some people, it might be that they cook. That would not be
Yeah.
my way. But, anyways, for some people, I mean, it's
I'm with
great.
you.
I just can't do it. I wish I could. I just can't. But, you know, and some people are really relating to the guides. That's what or nature. And some people are relating more to the body and the different ways of working with what the body's telling us, and
Yeah.
and lots of other ways. But there are as many paths as there are each of us, and to be able to find the path that's gonna, you know, like your particular key for the particular lock that you're working on is
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And I would have never, if you were to say to me, what would you be doing later in life? Would I ever have said I'm going to be putting my hands on people and doing some kind of talk and touch therapy? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that would have just been the furthest thing from my mind. But, you know, the more you get comfortable with yourself, the more you clean up that conditioning within your own structure, the more
Yeah.
available, uh, the more space your soul has to guide you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, send you messages for what, you know, what you've outlined as your soul purpose. I mean, for me, I believe that we define all that before we arrive here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I genuinely operate with that lens,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with all the experiences that happen in my life. So the more that we open up our physical body to that, the more space we have to actually connect with spirit and divine, I feel like. And you were incredibly instrumental as I was going through that whole process and your processes to allow me to realize how simple it could be, because
Mm-hmm.
often we're like, I have to do this meditation and it has to be really hard and
Yeah.
I have to work really hard at
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your process is so, yeah, just, you know, look at that, Rose, or step onto that next step and move into this more expanded space. And that's when we can feel more ease in our bodies, right? And that expansion in our bodies.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Not everybody is cut out for, you know, the 2 hour meditation. I remember going to a really so wonderful, nice meditation group where they would set the timer for like, I don't even, and I mean, I just went in, I was in for the full timed amount. It was great. And then it was the next week and you know, supposed to go back to the meeting again. And I just thought, there's no way. I just because my style, and the style that we learn with this, like it's very fast. We're just
Yeah.
continually connecting.
Yeah.
So we aren't having these, and I think it's great again for those who prefer that more traditional style, perfect. But
Yeah.
there is another way of just catching all the information as it comes and flowing towards
Yeah.
what you're receiving, kind of like you're you're always in meditation, even though you're in your life.
You know
Yeah.
what? I know I feel that way. I feel that I was struggling with that for a little while, that idea of, well, you know, I'm going down this road and am I going to just be one of those people wearing white robes sitting on a
Right.
mountaintop that no
Right.
one can relate to? And it's not, I mean, I think we shed the things that don't serve us at the time, you know, as we
Mhm.
move along, and then new things come in that serve us better at that time.
Mhm.
And so getting comfortable with that as well, that change, that evolution, um, that was big for me, because I just really thought, wow, I'm going down this new road. It's a completely different identity. Um, who am I going to be?
Yeah, and it used to be a lot of older systems where you had to join the church or the ashram, or and you had to give up your family, you had to give up a partner, you had to, And this new way is you retain, you have a family, you have friends, you have your society. You're just inhabiting it in a conscious way.
Yeah.
It's like you're always in spiritual practice,
Yeah.
even though you might not even call it that. It's just your life. It's just how you're living.
It's almost like holding the duality, right? Of understanding that we are all one and we are spiritually connected and there's a divine purpose or purposes. And yet every day we have to brush our teeth and go to the grocery store, people. And
yeah. It's like the everyday task for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
What do you think? Because you and I in this lifetime are both women, and there's a lot of women I find doing this, like women in our general age range, coming into this super understanding all at once. What do you think that's about? It's almost like
Yeah.
there's some bigger awakening in women as spiritual beings. What do you think that's about?
Wow. So that's like hits home on so many different levels for me, but I feel like I have gone through this sort of dark night of the soul, so to speak, where I grew up in a very patriarchal environment. Even, that transcended actually even into work and into my marriages. Um, and I've coming into a belief system uh, and more confidence in myself, I think has begun to like expand me as a person, to break through that paradigm. It's a paradigm, I
Yes,
feel like
right.
we
That's
have
right.
all lived in.
Yes.
And that paradigm has sort of kept women down, right, in a way. And I do feel like we're moving from our heads more into our hearts. And the more we begin to trust the embodied mind of the heart and its energy, the more we come fully into ourselves, I feel like, as women, but as, beings,
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love that phrasing, the embodied mind of the heart, which is in the phrasing that it's the same idea that the heart is where the soul resides. It's just like, yeah, I think it's a very interesting time where almost like different subgroups of society, maybe women of uh, women of a certain age, millennials of a certain age, people from this country, like there's these little pockets of awakening that are kind of all sparking at the same time. So it's creating this really big effect in collective soul. When you think about the people you work with, like what the problems used to be like with compared to like what you think people are dealing with now, has that shifted or are you seeing similar patterns? Oh wait, I can't. So your volume went off.
Oh no.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
a little bit. I think it's
Huh.
now it's there.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like more people are open now to exploring things that the mind isn't constraining them on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what is this whole idea of having a relationship with my body? What does somatics mean? How can it actually help me? I mean, I feel like that the body is the gateway to the soul, and the soul connects us with spirit. And there is a
Mm-hmm.
larger awakening, I think, for that coming, because I think we look at the bigger infrastructures and we see, the medical profession, while it's amazing for certain things, is not so amazing to empower us to become our own inner healers, right?
Yes.
And
Right.
that's what I have. I mean, I was plagued with a lot of medical stuff, my laundry list of medical things. And as I went down this journey, miraculously, I'm not diagnosed with asthma anymore. Well, where did the asthma go, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was a period of time where I had incredible panic attacks and um, anxiety. And through the work, through the the being still, being okay, being and not
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Mm-hmm.
I tapped more into my own authenticity, knowing I somehow there was a knowing I was being taken care of. I
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be okay. The signs were coming, the synchronicities were coming, the just that confirmation that there's
Yeah.
something larger at work.
Yeah.
And I think people are open to that now. I think they've had 2 years of being
Mm-hmm.
confined,
Mm-hmm.
of actually having to face their own inner demons, right?
Yes.
There was no place to run, no place to hide, no drink to pick up. I mean, some people
Yeah.
there
No,
might be,
just
but
no distraction of
precisely.
just going out and being in distraction. Yeah.
Correct. And
Yeah.
so because of that, it's the universe mirroring for us, all of us collectively, what we have to look at now, right? Because
Yeah.
as in relationship, we mirror for each other.
Mm-hmm.
This to me is this collective conscious mirror,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I love what you said. Like, where did the asthma go? The asthma just wasn't required anymore for yours. You worked through that soul lesson. You didn't need it anymore. And the asthma was giving you really clear guidance as to what needed to change. And then when you changed it, the asthma was no longer needed, as an example. And this
Yeah.
happens time and time again with people like, um, and it's not that you caused the asthma by, I don't know, negative thought or no. It's like it came in, you
Yeah.
learned and dealt with it, and you cleared it. And this is, yeah, everything comes in, and then when we don't need it anymore, it fades away. And this is also true of relationships or places we live, or it's like there's not a lot of permanence in anything or in nothing. And so we don't have to be like, oh, I have to live in this house for 40 years, or I have to be with this person for, it's like, it's much more fluid. We don't have to just lock down, stay there forever. Like we can change. Yeah, we can change. Yeah.
I so agree with that, and I can relate to it because I think just as our egos, right, being a big part of our beingness, um, it wants us to feel uh, safety, right? Our systems operate on safety, but the ego's idea of safety and our own being's idea of safety are two very different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Right.
that, unwinding that understanding of, oh, how is my ego trying to keep me safe? And does that serve me?
Right.
Or is there some other possibility for me?
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting thing about the pandemic. It's almost like a lot of us were thinking, oh, I just want to go into my cave and isolate. And this is only a piece. I think the pandemic has meant a lot of different things, and including a lot of pain and loss for a
Yes,
lot of people.
yes.
But part of it was we are all just like, I'm so sick of all this. I just want to go isolate. And then we go isolate and we're like, oh, that's not where it is. Where it really is, we need to go out and start contributing and start helping each other, which is a different task entirely. So we learned a lot that way.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I do find a lot of people moving in that direction, questioning sort of, we live in this framework of money, right? We
Hmm.
need money to exchange to survive, get food, do whatever. But
Hmm.
does it really have to come with at such a cost of
Yes, that's good.
unhappiness?
Hmm.
And how can we shift that? I find people looking at different ideas, new ideas for how to be more of service and then have the universe provide, right? The universe does provide and support the expansion of those endeavors.
Right. Like if money weren't the societal goal,
Hmm.
if contributing to a betterment was the societal goal, we could make so much progress so quickly.
So quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, What else would you like to add in terms of any other thoughts that are coming up for you around this idea?
I liked one of the things that you had said, actually, that I recall you saying about manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
and how you anti-manifest. So
Yes.
it's like you loosely manifest.
Yes.
And I love that, because I feel like, sometimes we get these things in our heads. Oh, I'm going to manifest and chant and this, and then it's going to. But I feel like where it really happens is when we say what our desire is, and then we let it go and look for the signs, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
synchronicities. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not chanting or saying or doing our affirmations and forcing it. We're saying,
Right.
universe, here's what I think I'd like.
Yeah.
You tell me if that's correct, because I'm here to serve.
Yes.
And then you follow the signs. The universe knows, okay, here's what Sarah wants. But actually what Georgette wants is this, and actually what Sarah wants is this. So we're going to take what they think they want and we're going to give them something better.
Exactly.
And yeah. And not better, not better maybe in money, say. Maybe it's better in fulfillment and meaning and value and interest, like the bigger, deeper things.
Well, the journey has been such that when I was kind of smack in the middle of that dark night, I was like, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like forever? Like
Right.
this losing of this inside, this, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't envision an expansion at that moment,
Yes.
right? But through that came, I would say, the place that I feel that I am now is this trusting, um, the grace. I see the grace everywhere, even in the things that might look like life difficulties. I
Yeah.
look for the silver lining. And I think the greatest gift is the peace, that
Yes.
it is invaluable. And
Yes.
I would love nothing more than everyone to move from their heads into this, what I'm calling really a heart revolution. I feel
Yes.
it.
Yes.
That's what we're on the precipice of.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, Georgette, I will put all the ways people can contact you below in the text, but thank you so much for your time, and
Yeah.
just wonderful to talk with you today.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Okay.
Same. So
Thank you.
much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.